What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Unstoppable, the elite mind and body podcast for men. Today, we're going to discuss Sleep 101. Okay, how to unlock next level performance and productivity. And Josh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Josh says, looking sick. Appreciate that, bro. So, guys, let's jump right in. Sleep 101. I want to tell you really quickly why I'm doing this episode. Okay, me and my brother. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but my brother right now is in town. He's my videographer. He's helping me to get my content out there. He's working on some AI projects that we're working on together. He's doing a couple things for me. And him and I have been grinding so hard the last few weeks that we haven't been sleeping very much. We've just been grinding our asses off, which is awesome. You know what I mean? There's walks and sprints in life. Sometimes you're in a sprint. Right now, we're in a sprint. We're looking to grind as much as we possibly can. And because of it, we're not getting the most sleep in the world. All right. Now, I started researching sleep, and I realized that there were some things that I'm doing right, some things that I'm doing wrong. And I thought, why not build a podcast episode that gives you guys everything that you possibly need to sleep as good as possible and reach the next level of your performance and productivity? So we're going to start out with an understanding of why sleep is important in the first place. Okay. Because a lot of people honestly don't understand. First of all, sleep is the only time where your body recovers. Sleep is the only time where your body is actively growing and repairing muscle tissue. Sleep is the only time where your stress levels and cortisol levels will actually chemically decrease. Sleep improves your health overall. Sleep also helps with cognitive brain function. So if you're trying to build muscle, get in better shape, make more money, build your career and your network better, post on social media, whatever you're trying to do, sleep is quintessential. It's one of the most important things that we possibly can get. But the fact of the matter is most people don't have time to sleep 8 hours a day. Like I genuinely don't have time to sleep 8 hours a day. If I slept 8 hours a night, I wouldn't have time for anything. Okay. Every time I get 8 hours of sleep, something doesn't get done. There is something that won't get done in my day if I sleep for 8 hours. That's just the way that it is. So I want to talk about three key things that are going to help you to get better sleep. The first one is your environment. Okay. So the environment that you're sleeping in is one of the most important things. Okay. The environment for sleep should have a low amount of light. Okay. So obviously the darker the better. It should have a consistent temperature, right? What's been found there's been studies that have shown that a cooler temperature in your room when you're sleeping allows you to get more restful sleep. So if it's hot and humid or something like that, consider getting a dehumidifier or an AC installed in your room. The next thing is comfort, right? Making sure that you're actually comfortable when you're sleeping, while you're sleeping. One of the things that most people don't really recognize is that if you don't have a comfortable pillow, it can be something that can hold you back from getting truly good, deep, restful sleep. And good, deep, restful sleep comes down to going through your sleep cycles, going through REM sleep, going through all the sleep cycles and ensuring that you actually get quality sleep and go through at least 1, 2, or 3 sleep cycles per night. Now, the next thing is something that I personally use, my kids personally use, and it's something that we swear by for our restful night's sleep. And it's actually white noise. So if you notice that you're kind of a light sleeper and you wake up easily when there's sounds or noises, or if like there's something like a pot falls over or something in your kitchen, whatever it is, a really good strategy to use for that is to set up a white noise, either a white noise machine or set up some sort of a fan or some sort of a noise in your room that constantly plays over the course of your 6, 7, 8, 9 hour sleep. And what that'll do is it'll allow you to basically only hear one noise, right? You only hear one noise as opposed to hearing crickets outside and the neighbors starting their car at 5 a.m. and, cars driving by in the middle of the night or whatever it is that you're hearing typically outside. What white noise allows you to do is have one specific noise that your brain can kind of merge with, if that makes sense, right? Like I find when I have white noise on, it's just blank. Like I can literally close my eyes, and because it's not too silent where I can hear my own thoughts, it's just blank. There's just nothing there. Okay. So that's one of my key tips. The second step for better sleep is a good sleep routine. Okay. So our internal clocks are something that regulates Like our circadian rhythm is something that regulates when we feel tired, when we feel awake. It also regulates when we feel hungry and when we feel not hungry as well. That's another topic. But the circadian rhythm is extremely, extremely important. And most people, how should I phrase this? Most people treat their weekends as if they're vacations, right? Which means they sleep in on weekends. They go to bed later and they sleep in. Okay. If you go to bed later on weekends and you sleep in later on weekends, it signals to your body that your circadian rhythm is changing. And if your circadian rhythm changes every week for 2 days, and then you go back to a regular 5 a.m. wake up or 6 a.m. wake up on Monday, it's a lot harder to get back into that wake up. Okay. What's much more powerful is to have a specific time that you wake up every single day, 7 days per week, and to stop treating your weekends like vacations. Me personally, I like to wake up between 5 to 5:30, 7 days a week. If I wake up later than that, I get less done in my week and I'm less productive. It's just the way that it is, because I've got kids, I've got other responsibilities, I've got my business, I've got my clients. Your case may be similar, your case may be different. But making sure that you wake up within the same 30-minute window on weekdays and weekends will help keep your circadian rhythm on track. The other thing that will help with the sleep routine is exercise, okay? And I don't mean exercise, I mean exercise at a specific point in day, okay? Because a lot of people, when they work out in the morning or they work out in the early afternoon, they feel fantastic, they get their endorphin release, and they can get to bed at a great time. A lot of the clients that I work out with that work out later in the day, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, even sometimes 6 or 7 p.m., get the endorphin release later in the day. And when you get that endorphin release later in the day, it makes it, let me turn down the gain on my mic. So I remember this was loud last time. There we go. The endorphin release makes it really difficult to get to sleep later in the day if you get a workout in late day. Okay. So it's if you're going to exercise, which you all should be exercising, make sure that you're getting your exercise in the morning or the early afternoon to keep that feeling of tiredness and keep your internal clock functioning properly. The last part of the sleep routine is caffeine. Okay. Like we all drink, most of us drink caffeine in some sort of regard. A caffeinated life is a happy life. In my honest opinion, I drink coffee every single day, 1 to 2 cups. But some people take it a little bit too far and they drink caffeine past noon, past 2, past 4, past 6, sometimes literally like nightcaps, right? So we got to make sure that we're keeping caffeine at bay. Research has shown that when you stop drinking caffeine around that 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, that midday kind of point, it allows your body's caffeine levels to get to a normal level before you get to bed. And that allows you to fall asleep and get into good, deep sleep faster. Okay. Now, the last thing that I want to discuss is sleep disorders. Okay. Because there's going to be people who listen to this podcast after the fact, and they're like, yeah, well, I've got sleep apnea. It's different for me. Well, I got insomnia. It's different for me. So here's what I want to do. I want to share some insight about sleep apnea and insomnia that'll help those of you that are suffering from these disorders to get through it and to get better, more restful sleep. So the first one is insomnia. Okay. When it comes to insomnia, it's people typically describe that their mind is racing, right? They typically describe a mind that can't be turned off, a mind that's racing, worry, stress, anxiety, doubt, guilt, whatever it is that they're going through or whatever their condition is. One of the most powerful ways to calm the mind and to turn off those thoughts is by mastering relaxation techniques, right? And so relaxation techniques are things like meditation, right? Are things like breathing techniques, right? If you ever tried vagal breathing is 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, and a 1 second pause after the exhale, and then 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out again. That vagal breathing is what you should be doing anytime you visualize. It's what you should be doing during your morning routines. It's what you should be doing during your meditation. It's actually a cheat code to calm the heart rate, calm the mind, and allow yourself to recenter yourself in awareness. Okay. If you understand anything, if you've ever done anything with meditation or listen to any of the works of Deepak Chopra or anybody like that, you'll understand that vagal breathing is one of those powerful techniques that can vastly change the way that you perceive reality in any moment. It can alleviate stress, worry, anxiety, doubt, all of those things. And typically those are the things that lead to insomnia. So I would first off, if you have insomnia, I would first off recommend reading some of the works of Deepak Chopra. whether that's total meditation or some of his YouTube videos, some of his teachings, where he discusses specific meditation strategies. And then also learn about vagal breathing and how it actually calms the body. Okay. Now, the next thing is something that people, the next two things for insomnia actually are a couple things that people don't typically consider when thinking about their insomnia. The first one is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is essentially a therapy where they treat past traumas. They treat past traumas with a therapist to help you to create coping mechanisms to deal with the stuff that's making you stressed out and anxious and stuff like that. That's the therapy that's best used for victims of crimes, or victims of past really bad traumas, or like PTSD, things like that. If that's keeping you awake and your insomnia is taking you is happening because of that, cognitive behavioral therapy is going to be the best option for you. I am not a therapist, so I think that what I'm saying is the be all end all of everything. But what I will say is that that's an option to explore if you're finding insomnia from one of those paths. The last thing that I want to discuss is action. Okay. And this has been my saving grace personally when it comes to insomnia. Anytime I have insomnia, it's honestly because I'm anxious, because I'm not taking enough actions, whether it be it in my business, be it as a father, be it with my health and fitness, be it with my spirituality, whatever it is. And so I find that action alleviates anxiety. Okay. And so the less action you're taking, or the more that you're considering starting your business, the more that you're worried about what people are going to think of you if you post on social media, the more that you don't take action on your health and fitness goals, even though you know you're supposed to, the more that you drink alcohol and do drugs or party, even when you know that you're not supposed to, those things create anxiety because you're not taking action in the right areas. Okay. So one of the best ways to sleep well at night, is to know that you put in a good hard day's work, right? That you progressed towards your goals in every area. And if you start progressing towards your goals in each area, that insomnia will naturally start to subside. Okay. Now, last thing I want to talk about is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea. I've had a lot of clients go through the program with sleep apnea. For clarity, for transparency's sake, if you're listening to this podcast for the first time or first couple times and you don't know, I run a company called Evolved, which is a fitness and life coaching program for men that helps them get to the next level in all areas. And I've worked with over 400 men to date, and I've had so many men come through with sleep apnea. And this is what I have found has been the best kind of remedy for sleep apnea. The first and foremost thing is a CPAP machine. Obviously, that's the most obvious one, a continuous positive airway pressure machine. It allows for the throat to remain open. It allows for consistent oxygen to be released into the body, and allows for the user to be able to fall and stay asleep as needed throughout the night, and to reduce the amount of episodes that the person experiences. Now, so that's the obvious one that everyone talks about. The next one that's a little bit less talked about is losing weight. Okay. Typically, I find that the people that have sleep apnea are the ones that have over 25-30% in body fat. Okay. If that's your case, using the CPAP machine until you lose that body fat will help you overall to get to the point where you get better from the sleep apnea just from the weight loss itself, right? Weight loss in and of itself helps with sleep. I remember when I was 200, anytime I'm above 200 pounds, I snore. It's really interesting. My wife notices it. Anytime I'm above 200 pounds, I snore. And when I was at my heaviest at 230, I remember like I would snore so loud, I would like shake the room because my body was like, my lungs were struggling to like expand because I had so much weight, right? So much weight bearing down on them. So now imagine that, but it's not muscle. Imagine that it's fat. You're basically getting suffocated because you have so much body weight weighing in on your lungs. Okay. So get the weight off. The next thing with sleep apnea is to avoid alcohol as well as sedatives. Okay. So avoid alcohol and drugs primarily because they actually relax your throat. And the more relaxed your throat is, the less air you can get through during your sleep. So that's something else to consider. So I've had clients come into the program, start to lose weight, start to drink less, and they basically don't even need to use their CPAP anymore. Okay. So last thing is to sleep on your side. If you have sleep apnea, sleeping on your back is actually one of the worst possible places that you could sleep. One of the better things to do is to sleep on your side so that you can start getting more air flow through your body, through your lungs. Guys, I hope this helps. This is Sleep 101. I want you all on your max level of performance, your max level of productivity. And in order to do so, you've got to make sure that you're resting. You've got to make sure that you're recovering. You got to make sure that you're taking the time out of your busy day to actually schedule, plan, and prepare for good sleeps so that the rest of the days, every day, can be successful and productive and happy. All right. Love you all. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I appreciate you guys. Leave a review if you're loving these episodes. If you're listening to this live right now, or you're one of my clients, you guys are rock stars. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.